Hello. Today I'm going to be doing a demo to show how quick and easily we can go from essentially nothing to a functioning, publicly available application in the cloud using Convox. So Convox is a platform for cluster management and interaction with clusters. It uses the GitOps workflow to ensure zero downtime deployments. What you can see here is the console. It's the SaaS delivery for Convox. Inside the console, hierarchy is established with users and organizations. Users create organizations, and organizations can have multiple users. A runtime integration is essentially a wrapper for the credentials we want to use on the desired cloud platform. Convox uses the runtime to create and manage resources on behalf of the user in the cloud. Adding a runtime is as simple as clicking the plus sign and selecting your preferred cloud provider. Once selected, you'll be prompted to authenticate with the provider, and we currently support AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and DigitalOcean. So now that we have an integration, we can go ahead and create a rack. So what is a rack? A rack represents not just the nodes in the cluster, but all of the infrastructure responsible for the rack to work in its specific cloud environment. Our most recent product uses Kubernetes for the underlying infrastructure. By using Convox, the developer doesn't need to know anything about Kubernetes. Convox handles all of the management for them. And inside of your rack is where you'll manage all of the applications within the cluster. To create a rack, you simply click Install and select the runtime integration that you would like to use. And here we can see the console itself is simply running CLI commands in the background. So you do have the ability to do everything you see here directly in the CLI itself in your terminal. So we have our rack and we want to create our application. First, start by pressing the plus button and giving our app a name. Now all this has done is create a namespace for the app. There's nothing really there. To deploy the code, we need to use a source integration and workflows. So let's head back over to integrations. Source integrations are used to deploy code from GitHub or GitLab into our workflows. It uses authorizations from GitHub and makes your repositories available to the console. We also offer notification integrations via Slack to alert upon events such as new deployments, builds, releases, and promotions. I've already added my source integration, but it is as simple as the runtime. So there are two types of workflows, deployments and review. Deployment workflows are triggered whenever the code is merged into a specific branch or repository, and review workflows will create a build every time a PR is created for a specific repository, allowing you to create a running review of applications to test the latest changes before you merge the pull request. Let's create a deployment to get our application up and running. We'll give the workflow a name. And then select the app from within our rack that we'd like to deploy. You can choose to automatically promote the application after a PR or manually do it yourself. Run tests will perform a health check defined in the Convox YAML manifest. And the before and after promote fields allow for you to run predefined commands for a specific service before and after promotion. This allows for things like schema updates inside of containers. I'm going to go ahead and save the workflow. So there are two ways to trigger the deployment workflow, with a pull request or by pressing the play button. So let's go ahead and press the play button. So here you can see Kubernetes being updated by Terraform. All of this is the infrastructure code, the lifecycle dependencies, and the maintenance, which is handled by Convox. While this is running, we'll go over and check the Jobs tab. So the Jobs tab, each workflow that's triggered will create log information in the Jobs tab for you to view in your records. As you can see, here's some old demos that I've done. All right, so here you can see the active services running for the application. We will always generate a public URL that you can use for your application, but you can use a custom domain if you'd like. As you can see, here's our Node.js application up and running. So, as you can see here, in just a few minutes, we were able to go from nothing to a fully deployed application running in the cloud using Convox.